Yet AOC keeps defending it, saying gender is fluid, language is fluid. Yes, and Latino voters are fluid. And now, there's no one to champion or defend either of them because you, with your aggressively anti-common sense agenda and exclusionary attitude, blew it. You lost everything. House, Senate, White House, Supreme Court, and left us completely unprotected and ready to be violated. Democrats have become like a royal family that, because of so much incest, has unfortunately had children who are retarded. And the same thing can happen to ideas if they are also conceived in an atmosphere of intellectual incest. Maybe take the clothespins off your noses and actually converse with the other half of the country.
This time, Maher's criticism of AOC and the Democrats came as a surprise. He argued that AOC and several Democratic leaders have been avoiding tough interviews, saying it's understandable since no one likes being caught off guard. But avoiding Maher's questions, he suggested, is a very different matter. According to Maher, the Democrats' arguments have become weak and unconvincing. So what reasons did they actually give, and how did Maher respond? Hit the subscribe button, and let's get started. In this video, Maher takes direct aim at AOC and the Democrats.
Look, I would love to have AOC on the show, and Mamdani and Elizabeth Warren, but I can't subpoena the guests. And I can't fix that what the Democrats are scared of more than anything else, I mean, obviously besides gluten, is being primaried from the far left, even though most Democrats are not far left. They're mild-mannered and moderate, at least at my bathhouse.
Three of the best-known voices on the left, AOC, Mamdani, and Elizabeth Warren, appear to have declined Maher's invitation to appear on his show. It's not hard to see why. Maher is known for asking sharp, unscripted questions that leave little room for prepared talking points or polished answers. For politicians more comfortable with friendly interviews, that can be a risky setting. Predictable questions and rehearsed responses are much easier to manage. On Maher's show, however, one poorly handled moment can quickly go viral. As a result, AOC, Mamdani, and Warren seem to have chosen safer platforms over the unpredictable style that has made Maher's program stand out for years.
Every month I see a new poll reporting how much Latinos despise the woke term Latinx. It's about as popular with them as a reboot of Speedy Gonzales. Even the country's oldest Latino civil rights group came out against it, yet AOC keeps defending it, saying gender is fluid, language is fluid. Yes, and Latino voters are fluid. And more of them now than ever are identifying as Republican. So are Asian Americans, whose support for Democrats is down 16 points since the last election.
Critics argue that AOC in particular may have declined Maher's invitation because he would likely ask about her past use of the term Latinx. The word has faced criticism from many Latino voters and commentators who have made it clear they do not want it used to describe them. Even so, AOC continued using it. According to critics, she has rarely been asked to defend or explain that position in major media interviews. But Maher has a different style. He is known for asking direct questions instead of avoiding difficult topics. If AOC were sitting across from him, critics believe he would ask why she continues to support a term that many voters and commentators have rejected. That may be one reason they suggest she chose not to appear on his show.
AOC says so many people in this country hate women. Oh, geez. Even the guy at the party who pulls out a guitar is like, way to ruin the fun. Congressman Jamal Bowman says capitalism is slavery by another name. No, it's not. It's the thing that has given more people more prosperity and hope than any other system, flawed though it surely is.
Maher believes the Democrats, including AOC, are still avoiding his show because they do not want to face difficult questions. He argues that Kamala Harris did not lose simply because of her gender. Instead, he believes many voters rejected the political image she represented, particularly its connection to woke culture. According to Maher, she never clearly distanced herself from it. AOC, however, appears to see the issue differently. Maher argues that this is the kind of topic he would challenge directly on his show, leading to a conversation that many Democrats would rather avoid.
You love to speak truth to power, and we always should, but you have completely lost the ability to speak truth to bullshit. The Democratic polling firm Blueprint told Democrats months ago that black voters, aka their supposedly liberal base, were more likely to find the president too liberal than too conservative. They also found that voters didn't just want Harris to distance herself from Biden, they wanted her to distance herself from what they believe the entire Democratic Party has become, a Portlandia sketch.
In a similar way, Maher criticizes Kamala Harris, arguing that she failed to separate herself from both Biden and the party's progressive wing. According to his view, many Democrats had already become dissatisfied with the Biden administration, yet Harris did little to present a different direction. Critics often point to the moment when she said she could not think of anything she would have done differently from Biden. Maher argues that this reflected a larger problem within the party. In his view, Democrats became so reluctant to question their own record that they struggled to defend it convincingly. He believes that is one reason many Democrats now find themselves supporting a party they are hesitant to criticize openly.
And now one idea that's getting a lot of attention is the Dems need to find their Joe Rogan, a liberal Joe Rogan, because that's why Kamala lost. Republicans have a podcast. Okay, maybe. Or you could consider this. Instead of conjuring up a new Joe Rogan, ask yourself why you lost the old one. Because he used to be on your side. He smokes pot on the air. I don't think he's that much of a far-right ideologue.
Using Joe Rogan as a leading example, Maher argues that the Democrats have steadily lost influential voices that were once more closely aligned with them. He points out that Rogan did not suddenly change his views. Maher argues that Democrats have moved so far to the left that many longtime supporters no longer recognize the party. He believes it has drifted away from pragmatic liberalism and embraced positions that even loyal voters find difficult to defend. His message is to return to a more practical, open-minded form of liberalism, which he believes could help reconnect the party with voices like Joe Rogan and other politically disconnected voters.
And the same thing can happen to ideas if they are also conceived in an atmosphere of intellectual incest. Maybe take the clothespins off your noses and actually converse with the other half of the country. Stop screaming at people to get with the program and instead make a program worth getting with.
Maher argues that the DNC's biggest problem is that instead of trying to understand why so many Americans voted the way they did, it has chosen to dismiss a large part of the country because of those votes. Maher argues that Democrats rejected many voters instead of trying to understand them, leaving the party trapped in an echo chamber. He believes this limits open debate, encourages repeated mistakes, and makes it harder to connect with people who hold different views. In his opinion, meaningful progress depends on engaging with diverse perspectives.
I will conclude by saying the reason I'm so mad at the Democrats is because as a voter, the issues that were important to me were democracy and the environment. And now, there's no one to champion or defend either of them because you, with your aggressively anti-common sense agenda and shitty exclusionary attitude, blew it. You lost everything. House, Senate, White House, Supreme Court, and left us completely unprotected.
Maher argues that the Democratic Party's shift to the left has left it politically weakened and disconnected from many former supporters. Maher argues that many voters no longer see the Democratic Party as reflecting their values. He believes a Kamala Harris presidency could have carried the party's current challenges into the White House with greater emphasis on cultural issues over practical governance. In his view, the DNC's lack of direction and self-correction reflects the broader problems he believes the party faces today.
Alyssa Slotkin calls her party weak and woke. She's right. People vote on instinct. They can smell fear a swing state away, and they'd rather have strong and wrong.
Maher argues that Democrats have become too unwilling to challenge the party's progressive wing, allowing it to shape the party's message at the expense of more moderate views. He believes this weakens public confidence, arguing that many voters prefer leaders they see as strong rather than those who appear to yield to ideological pressure. In his view, Democrats continue to ignore this political warning.
It sounds a lot like what Obama said after he left office. The average American doesn't think we have to completely tear down the system and remake it. They just don't want to see crazy stuff. Is this really so hard a message for Democrats to see?
In the summary, Bill Maher presents a Democratic Party that he believes is in serious trouble. He argues that it has become disconnected from many ordinary Americans and increasingly isolated from opposing viewpoints. From AOC's comments on Latinx to Kamala Harris's struggle to separate herself from Biden, Maher argues that Democrats often avoid difficult conversations. He believes the party's shift to the left has alienated moderates and former supporters like Joe Rogan. In his view, the DNC's challenges stem from resisting internal criticism, and he warns that without a return to more pragmatic liberalism, Democrats risk losing further public support.